And here are some of the stories we're following for you. VP Kamala Harris and her running mate took part in their first interview, which is getting mixed reviews. The Dallas PD is mourning the loss of one of its officers as two others were injured in a shootout with a gunman that was also killed. And the Drive Sober, No Regrets Texas DPS campaign is in full effect for the holiday weekend. We'll have details right now, traffic and weather.
Your Labor Day weekend forecast today, tomorrow, and on Sunday. Partly cloudy with a stray shower thunderstorm possible. Highs in the mid-90s each day. Monday, showers in the morning. Thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. The potential for some heavy rainfall. Highs in the upper 80s. 75 degrees in Alamo Heights. 75 at the Snake Farm. And 74 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 6:55.
Dusk of summer, a summer farewell to summer playlist on a Red Friday. We wear red to remember everyone deployed until they all come home. Thanks to Charlie Parker for those were the days. Coming up at 7:10 on a segment we call Wait Till You Hear This. We'll listen in to former President Donald Trump at his rally in Michigan yesterday. Meanwhile, in the state of Texas, it'll be the state of Texas versus the city of Dallas in court, as Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton announced yesterday he's suing the city of Dallas and state fair officials for their new policy banning firearms from the fairgrounds. In a statement, Paxton said, quote, "Neither the city of Dallas nor the State Fair of Texas can infringe on Texans' right to self-defense. I warned 15 days ago that if they did not end their unlawful conduct, I would see them in court, and now I will."
Yeah, it's interesting that Paxton is suing the city of Dallas because apparently the city of Dallas really doesn't have direct input in what the State Fair of Texas is doing. But apparently state fair officials say this is in line with what other cities are doing, including the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. And this is in response to that shooting last year that injured 3 people. And as a gun owner myself, I want the ability to protect myself, defend myself, while there will be police in full force at the state fair. If something happens and you're not close to a police officer, you do need a good guy with a gun in a situation where gunfire erupts and other people's lives are in danger.
Now, while I do agree good guys with guns are great to have, but, it's open carry state. I just wish that everybody that was a responsible gun owner, and if you are, you've probably already done this, go take a course on how to properly, take care, maintain, and shoot a gun. Because I'm just worried about the bystanders that might get hit by the bad shot.
That's the scary part.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen gunfire in public places before, usually by gang members or bad actors
that hit
other people. And you would certainly pray to God that would not happen. But this is a tough one. Responsible gun owners are good people. And it's the ones who are less than responsible that are a concern. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in court.
Yeah, I think they're looking at fines for each day. The policy is still in place, so this could get really expensive very quickly.
And I think that the city of Dallas will lose this in court eventually because of the state law. My thought.
Yeah, I would think not only state law, but you look at the judges in the state of Texas, they would probably rule in favor of Ken Paxton and the state of Texas in this case. As I mentioned, coming up, we've got former President Donald Trump from Michigan at a rally on Wait Till You Hear This at 7:10. Charity with all the big stories you need to know at the top of the hour. But right now, it's a weekend preview from Jenny James at Q1019.
Barry Manilow's last San Antonio concert is tonight at Frostbank Center. Maria Bamford's at the Charlene McCombs Empire Theater, and La Mafia is at the Majestic Theater. Tomorrow, the Texas Testicle Festival is at Banker Smith. And Sunday is the San Antonio Fire Museum's annual Labor Day Festival. Now, going on all weekend, San Japan at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center and the San Antonio Grand Hyatt. The inaugural Tejano Superfest is at Cattleman Square. The Ford Parade of Lights is going on the Riverwalk all weekend, as is the Market Square Labor Day celebration. San Antonio Missions playing at home this weekend. Tonight is the David Robinson Blue Missions basketball jersey giveaway to the first 2,500 fans. Tomorrow, UTSA Roadrunners football against Kennesaw State. That's happening at the Alamo Dome at 2:30. And tomorrow night, San Antonio FC take on Charleston Battery at home at 8 o'clock. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. I'm Jenny James from Q1019 for News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Seven o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. It is Friday. Good morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, Kamala Harris takes part in her first interview as a presidential candidate, and a shootout in Dallas leaves one police officer dead and two others injured. We'll have the stories coming up. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes and mornings. Your Weather Channel forecast for this Friday: partly cloudy, a high near 95. Tonight you could see a stray shower or storm, a low in the upper 70s. Right now, 77 degrees. 5 weeks after launching her presidential campaign, Vice President Kamala Harris gave her first interview. Fox's Chris DeMeo has more.
Vice President Harris was joined by Minnesota Governor Tim Walz in the sit-down with CNN. The discussion largely focused on policy, with the vice president defending shifting away from some of her more liberal positions. But she insists her values haven't changed, especially on issues affecting average Americans.
One of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class.
Courtesy of CNN, the vice president was asked about changes in her policies over the years, specifically on fracking and decriminalizing illegal border crossings. The interview comes as voters are still trying to learn more about the Democratic ticket under an unusually compressed time frame. Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
During a campaign stop at a steel plant in Potterville, Michigan, former President Trump revealed a new policy on IVF that he wants to implement if reelected.
I'm announcing today in a major statement that under the Trump administration, your government will pay for, or your insurance company will be mandated to pay for, all costs associated with IVF treatment, fertilization for women, IVF treatment.
It comes as part of his campaign's trek across the Rust Belt, states like Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, as Vice President Harris travels across Georgia. An officer in distress call last night in Dallas has left one officer dead and two others injured. Here's Dallas PD spokesperson Kristen Lohman.
Our department is hurting. We have officers who are injured, who are in the hospital, and we lost one of our own. We asked tonight and this morning for the thoughts and prayers of our city, for not only those who are recovering in the hospital, but for our fallen, for their family, and for their loved ones.
Responding officers exchanged gunfire with the suspect who died at the scene. Texas AG Ken Paxton is suing the city of Dallas over a change in gun policy for the upcoming state fair. Paxton claims the rule that only active or retired police officers would be allowed onto the fairgrounds with weapons is a violation of state law since the property is owned by the city. The change is being made after 3 people were shot and wounded at the fair last year. Both city and fair officials say they stand behind the new policy. Republicans are furious over what is in the proposed San Antonio city budget. Beth Myers reports.
Part of the budget includes using taxpayer dollars to pay for lawyers for illegal immigrants. Councilman Mark White opposes the allocation of $150,000 to a group called American Gateways. He says it's not something that residents want.
We do a budget survey every year. I mean, I don't know why we do it, because we ask them and then we go off and spend money on other things.
He says it's just one example of frivolous spending. There's also $500,000 for a so-called reproductive justice program that would help pregnant women leave the state to seek an abortion. I'm Beth Myers, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
This year's edition of the Greater San Antonio Chamber of Commerce Congressional Series is in the books. The annual event brings together state lawmakers to discuss priorities for the region. U.S. Congressman Greg Casar, representing parts of San Antonio and East Austin, highlighted efforts to connect booming cities along the I-35 corridor through a proposed Amtrak route. He also emphasized the need for affordable housing and discussed the GRID Act passed this year in response to the 2021 deadly winter storm. However, ERCOT has criticized the GRID Act, arguing that it's too costly to implement. TxDOT is teaming up with local law enforcement to prevent drunk driving this Labor Day weekend. They'll be out on the road stopping drunk drivers as part of the Drive Sober, No Regrets campaign. DPS Sergeant Tony De La Cerda says July and August are the 2 deadliest months for drunk driving fatalities.
We tend to see more drunk drivers over the holiday weekends. On average, we're losing 1 person in Texas every 8 hours because of drunk driving. That means every day, multiple families in Texas lose a loved one and have their lives changed forever.
He says if you plan to drink this Labor Day weekend, make sure you arrange a sober ride through a taxi, friend, or rideshare, or take public transportation. Several new laws passed during special sessions of the Texas legislature are set to go into effect on Sunday. Among the 50-plus bills, one notable law is House Bill 18, which imposes new regulations on social media platforms. Under this law, digital service providers must verify a user's age and obtain parental consent before minors can create accounts. These changes follow last year's legislative session where more than 700 bills became law. It is 7:06. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news on a Red Friday. If you're watching the YouTube stream, you will know that we are all wearing red as we do every Friday to remember everyone deployed until they all come home. Coming up at 7:40, we do have national correspondent Rory O'Neill, who will have more reaction to last night's CNN interview with Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Coming up on a segment we call Wait Till You Hear This, we'll hear Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, at a rally yesterday in Michigan. But first, let's get you caught up on traffic and weather together.
Your Labor Day weekend forecast: partly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible today, tomorrow, and on Sunday. Highs in the mid-90s all 3 days. Monday, rain showers early with thunderstorms developing in the afternoon and potential for some heavy rainfall. Highs in the upper 80s. 72 degrees in Kerrville, Texas. 77 at the Pearl. 76 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 7:10.
Thanks for bringing me down, Andrew Zimmel. So Long, Sweet Summer by Dashboard Confessional. Summer is my favorite season of the year.
Mine too.
And Labor Day is the unofficial end of summer. I guess we got one weekend left to enjoy summer and wear white slacks.
I was going to say, yeah. All the way until Tuesday.
I'm going to go put on my white slacks after the show. Just keep them on the whole weekend.
Are you going to sit down anywhere? Because they're going to immediately get dirty. I mean, that's why you'll never see me in white anything.
What are you
sit
sitting
in the grass? You get a grass stain.
That's
you
true.
get that green on your rear end.
I've said this before. I put on a white shirt. I walk by a Mexican restaurant outside and I get salsa on me somehow. I don't know how that happens.
One of the hazards
I'm telling you.
Living in San Antonio. Every weekday morning at this time, it's a segment we call Wait Till You Hear This. We span the globe to bring you the constant variety of audio. And while a lot of eyes were on Kamala Harris on that CNN interview last night, Donald Trump was having a rally in Michigan. Let's listen.
Under Kamala, we are rapidly approaching economic and social catastrophe. Most Americans are unaware that Harris and Biden have been shutting down entire swaths of our energy and electricity infrastructure without replacing it or even talking about it, leading to soaring electrical prices and energy prices, and also an energy shortfall like we've never had before. They're closing down things that shouldn't be closed down. This week, Harris officially banned drilling on 28 million acres of public lands. So what they did is when they came in, what caused inflation, other than their spending, which was a big factor, but it's energy, because they came in and they wanted to terminate everything I was doing. And the prices were going through the roof for gasoline and everything. So they said, put it back, put it back. So it all came back, or most of it came back. Maybe not to the same, but pretty close. They said, go back, after the election. If they ever won, it's all gone. But what they don't say is they'll say, oh, but we have the similar to Trump. And that's sort of true. But what they don't have is they don't have ANWR. They gave up ANWR, the biggest site anywhere in the world, in Alaska, that I got done. Ronald Reagan couldn't get it done. But really, most importantly, what they don't have is we were going to be 4 to 5 times bigger by now. So when they say they headed back, they only headed back to where I was. We were going to have so much energy coming out of the ground, so much liquid gold. We were going to pay off debt. We were going to reduce your taxes further. I mean, we have more liquid gold than Saudi Arabia. We have more than Russia, and we were going to use it. And you know where we're getting a lot of our energy now? Venezuela, which isn't even, it's tar. You know that. It's tar. And you know where it's refined? There's only one plant in the entire world that can do it. It happens to be in Houston, Texas. So for those of you that don't like particles going into the air, take a look at that mess.
Donald Trump speaking in Michigan yesterday. And the more that we hear from Donald Trump and the more we hear from Kamala Harris, we keep thinking about the big first debate, which is scheduled September 10th, which is now just 11 days away.
And I know the economy is getting a lot of the attention, but it seems recently Trump has been focusing on reproductive rights on the campaign trail. He's made some pretty bold statements lately, including on Friday on Truth Social, where he said his administration would be great for women and their reproductive rights. He's talked about that he does not agree with Florida's 6-week abortion ban, and now he's making a pledge to cover IVF treatments if reelected to the White House. So it's interesting that he seems to be kind of pivoting here, considering in 2016 he campaigned on the fact that he was going to eliminate Roe v. Wade, promising to appoint those pro-life judges to the high court, a promise that he made good on.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a change in policies of Republicans in general, if you think about it like that. But interesting in what we just listened to about the economy and the energy going on and what's happening and all that. And I knew about the Houston place. The only place that the Venezuela oil can be refined is in Houston. But, it's not that great. It's really not. That oil is like tar, like he says.
Yeah.
It's coming out of the ground, not very good. So it's pretty bad.
Well, hopefully the refining process in Houston is very, very good to try
They need to refine that process.
Yes, very much so. All right, coming up, Mike Opelka is out today. He's a very popular man. He is on assignment, but we will get you caught up on headlines, traffic, and weather together. And we'll take a look at a big weekend coming up in San Antonio. WOAI News Time, 7:15. Just ahead of headlines, traffic and weather together with Mike Opelka out for today. We'll talk about a big weekend of activities and events in San Antonio. But first, Charity McCurdy, what stories are you following?
3 police officers in Dallas were shot last night, leaving 1 dead, 2 injured. The suspect was also killed. Vice President Harris and her running mate sat down for a CNN interview that covered a wide range of topics. And former President Trump is promising that he'll require health insurance companies or the government to cover in vitro fertilization costs. I'll have details for right now, traffic and weather.
Your Labor Day weekend forecast, partly cloudy skies today, tomorrow, and Sunday. A stray shower or thunderstorm possible all 3 days. All 3 days, highs in the mid-90s. And then on Labor Day Monday, rain showers early with thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. There is a potential for some heavy rainfall, highs in the upper 80s. 77 degrees in Leon Valley, 77 at Bud and Barrel, and 76 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 7:20.
San Antonio's first news, usually at this time, almost always at this time. We connect with Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast. Mike is brought to us by Randy Adams Incorporated, but Mike is very much in demand. He has got another gig.
Yes.
And I think you know where it is.
Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit, Michigan. He's on the radio this morning. If you're a Joe Pags fan, you know Mike Opelka fills in for Joe Pags frequently, and he is much in demand across the country, so he is not here today. But we will remind you, OpelkaCon is 55 days away.
That's right. That's
October 24th. Circle your calendar. More details to come. Mike Opelka coming to San Antonio, and we will have OpelkaCon.
Yes.
I can't wait to finally get to hug Mike Opelka. I've always talked about, I joke about how I'm a bear hugger.
Yeah.
And he has promised to visit San Antonio so he can give me a big hug. I mean, he's like our best friend, but we've never seen him in the flesh.
Correct.
And I'm so excited that's about to change.
Now, Charity, will there be a Charity McCurdy hugging booth at OpelkaCon? Have we
decided?
Have you decided? Have we worked out the legal ramifications yet?
You know what? I consider our listeners our extended family, so I am absolutely okay with that. Just, everyone make sure you took a shower before you came, That's all I ask for.
Let's hope that everybody does that.
Like, don't come off of a jog and then expect a hug. That's all I'm saying.
You know what's funny, Chris, is I've worked with Charity for a long, long time, and she talks about all these hugs she likes to give out. I don't believe I've ever gotten one.
I disagree, T. I've given you hugs, especially at company parties. It's happened. You just don't remember because I think you were on your 3rd drink. So
third. I thought you said it was a party.
Very nice. Well, a big weekend in San Antonio. We've been talking for months, actually, about the Barry Manilow concert.
Yeah.
We gave away tickets, like 3 months ago?
I know it seemed like longer, but yeah.
Yeah. Bob and Cindy, 2 of our listeners, going on their first date tonight. We want to hear more when we come back on Tuesday after Labor Day about that one. We now know that the storyteller will be there wearing a black Stetson hat with a yellow rose.
Yes.
Kemper will be there along with Jolene.
Wow.
Could be a lot of romance in the air tonight.
I feel like I'm living vicariously through this potential love story, love connection. I cannot wait to hear about the outcome.
Yeah.
And Kemper won't hold back. She'll give us the unfiltered version of everything that took place.
And that's what makes her so cool. And I don't know about you guys, but my wife just frowns on me dating. So I guess this is a good way to, live vicariously through them dating. So
that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it works for me.
That's what we're doing. Now, in addition to Barry Manilow, it's a big day tomorrow in and around the Alamo Dome.
Yeah, you got UTSA playing at 2:30. There is a San Japan conference going on at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. So let's just say parking will be at a premium downtown. So they're suggesting the park and ride from Crossroads, $1.30 each way. Parking's free at Crossroads. You can get there. They're going to start at 11:30 in the morning to get to the UTSA game. So I think that's the way to go.
Pretty cheap.
Yeah, both events are expected to draw more than 15,000 fans. So it's going to be a little crazy downtown. So if you're going to attend either event, like T said, park and ride is your friend.
Yes, it is. And then we've got the big game going on at Gustafson Stadium tomorrow night as well, John Jay and home. So, traffic in that area is going to be nuts anyway. So, yeah.
Yes, and we will hear more from the people. A bet between Mr. T and myself. I went to Holmes High School. Mr. T went to John Jay High School.
Sometimes.
So sometimes when he would show up, when he wasn't truant, he would be in class at John Jay High School.
I only had 3 classes in my senior year, man. It was tough to make all 3 of them.
Well, and to your credit, you went to summer school
at
Holmes.
Yes, because my 10th grade English teacher sent me out in the hall for a semester, so I ended up not passing that class and having to take it over in summer school.
Were you a problem child?
Not at all. I made a joke. And I thought it was funny. Everybody in class thought it was funny. She didn't think it was funny. So I get out in the hall and I had to stay out there the whole semester.
So the best listener recommendations that we've gotten for the loser of the bet is to either dye your beard, your school colors, sing your school song on air, or wear a dress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we just call that Tuesday. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
The wear a dress. I mean, what is this? The Benny Hill show?
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't know about the wear a dress thing.
Yeah.
Well, and it would be opposite. So you would have to dye if the other team wins, you would have to dye your beard green for Holmes High School, Mr. T. I would have to dye mine blue for John Jay High School. And the opposite person, you would have to sing the Holmes High School fight song.
Yeah.
I would have to sing the John Jay fight song.
What is the Holmes? Is it how much is that doggy in the window?
Fight on to victory. Let's show that the Huskies are here. This is why I don't sing often.
Yeah.
But show that we know.
And I don't even know
Come
John
on, let's
Jay's.
give a winning cheer.
Can't remember.
Fight.
See, I can't remember
pretty
John
good, Chris.
Jay's.
I remember the.
Sounds easy too. I'll take that one.
I dated a cheerleader, so I had to know the fight song. She would have been very disappointed in me if I didn't know the fight song. All right, coming up, Rory O'Neill, national correspondent Rory O'Neill on last night's interview of Kamala Harris on CNN. What's the reaction? What's his reaction? That and more coming up. WOAI News Time 7:25.
Sorry, we're back.
So Tim wanted to hear. Can we do that for him?
Yeah. Kemper.
Play the Kemper by request. This is customer service, Tim, from the Philippines. You wanted to hear Kemper's talk back. You ask, we deliver.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Here it comes. Hang on, let me turn this
think?
down. Hang on. Just so we can hear what's going on.
Woo!
Okay, here it comes, everybody. Here it comes.
Good morning on this Red Berry Manilow Friday. I have to say I have nothing to say about Kamala, but great streaming recommendation on Netflix. The show is called The Worst Ex Ever. Honestly, the most psycho people are exposed and focused on this show. And it'll give you fresh, amazing eyes for your spouse or significant other. Have a great weekend.
There it is.
There was Kemper.
Woo!
All right. So that's done.
Tim says, Chris, you have just shown you are qualified to be the lead singer for Chopped Liver. Thank you. Although we're considering, if we really want to go big time, Jared Dillian is our front man.
Because he's actually a professional singer.
In fact, I can show them Jared, and he's kind of got the look.
He does. You make a great front man.
I can show them Jared Dillian, I think. Whoops.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, if he put on some spandex, he'd be perfect. I love.
We liked Jared Dillian. We're gonna have.
Yeah, he was pretty good, man. I like him a lot. I hate when that happens.
So, talkbacks at 50.
Sure, I got plenty. The fans are called the Onions.
Nice.
Oh, Calvin Buckholz is here.
Calvin, what is going on, man?
The 67th matchup. That sounds about right.
And what's the record? Holmes 37.
Oh no, come on, man.
Holmes
No way.
37.
No
Jay
way.
30.
No way.
Holmes was very good in 1985, as I recall.
Man, my senior year in 1981, we were rocking it.
Oh, that's right. Eric knows a really good photographer.
That's right. I've heard that.
Right, Eric could be the official photographer of Chopped Liver.
You know, he could do our album cover.
Yes. There
First
you go.
of all, we got to come up with an album
You do
first.
the album
but yes.
cover, yes.
But well, you know what? I say we do the album cover first.
Yes.
And then we do the album.
Exactly. Good
You know,
idea.
It's like the guy walking down the road. Guy walking down the road carrying the gas can. The guy says, "You run out of gas?" He says, "No, I don't have a car." He says, "What's the gas can for?" He says, "I'm thinking about getting one."
Yes.
That's it right there.
Everybody does their songs first, then they
do
the
Here
album
comes
cover.
Charity McCurdy, everybody.
.30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. It is Friday. Good morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, a Dallas police officer is dead, 2 others injured after exchanging gunfire with a suspect, and Kamala Harris's first sit-down interview is now behind her. Details ahead. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your Weather Channel forecast for this Friday: partly cloudy, a high near 95. Tonight, a stray shower or storm possible, a low in the upper 70s. Right now, 75 degrees. Three police officers in Dallas were shot last night, leaving 1 dead and 2 injured. Fox's Chanley Painter has more.
Dallas police confirming 3 officers were shot in the line of duty. They say officers responding to an officer in distress call near Oak Cliff Community Center found a Dallas police officer shot in a marked patrol car. The arriving officers then exchanged gunfire with an armed suspect at the scene, where 2 more officers were shot. As of right now, 1 is in stable condition, 1 is in critical condition, and 1 officer is dead. After the shootout, the suspect fled the scene, leading officers on a high-speed chase. The pursuit ended in Louisville. According to police, when the suspect exited the vehicle, he had a long gun. Officers then fired at the suspect, killing him.
Here's Dallas PD spokesperson Kristen Lohman.
We asked tonight and this morning for the thoughts and prayers of our city, for not only those who are recovering in the hospital, but for our fallen, for their family, and for their loved ones.
DPD says flags at all city facilities will be flown at half-staff in memory of the officer that was killed. Vice President Kamala Harris gave her first interview since launching her presidential campaign. Fox's Kristen Mayo reports.
The vice president sitting down with CNN with her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. The interview focused largely on policy as the vice president sought to show that she had adopted more moderate positions like on fracking.
I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
Courtesy of CNN, the vice president saying the most important aspect of her policy perspective and decisions is her values have not changed. Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
Speaking to Fox News, House Speaker Mike Johnson says the vice president has proven that she's not for the American people.
Kamala Harris has a long record in public service. She was in the Senate. She has been vice president. Everyone knows where she stands. She's a San Francisco radical, a big government socialist. She has been on record on the opposite side of every issue of where the American people are.
Meantime, former President Trump returns to Pennsylvania today for a rally in the hotly contested swing state. Here's Fox's Gernal Scott.
Former President Trump will speak in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, Friday afternoon. He's been traveling around the country holding rallies in critical swing states, hoping to combat what has been, as of late, a surge by the Democratic ticket led by Vice President Kamala Harris. The Johnstown rally comes 2 months after the attempted assassination in Butler, Pennsylvania. Today's rally will be an indoor event. Recent polling has former President Trump and Vice President Harris virtually tied in Pennsylvania with less than 10 weeks to Election Day. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
He threatened to do it. Now he has. Texas Attorney General Kim Paxton is suing the city of Dallas and the State Fair of Texas. The State Fair rolled out a new policy in response to a shooting in the food court last October that left several people injured. It banned all firearms from the State Fair this year. The fair's Carissa Condayanis says other venues have restrictions that are in line with theirs.
The Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, the San Antonio Stock Show, as well as Rodeo Austin, they have similar policies in place to ban weapons. And so we feel this is the measure that we need to put in place.
Paxton sent a letter warning the city of Dallas to change the new policy, saying it violates state law and infringes on Second Amendment rights. He gave them 2 weeks to comply. He claims they have not, so he filed a lawsuit. The city of Dallas and the State Fair have yet to respond, but appeals are likely. Those for and against a new stadium downtown for the San Antonio Missions gave City Council an earful during a special session that happened yesterday.
I don't want to move, and I know realistically 60% of the people living in that apartment won't want to move either.
This resident echoed many of the economic concerns of his neighbors and many on San Antonio City Council about a proposed new stadium for the San Antonio Missions minor league baseball team. Those in favor include Mayor Ron Nierenberg, who says the proposal must work for San Antonio as well for the team.
Protect San Antonians in terms of the finances of this deal, but also make sure that we're protecting San Antonio families.
The council must approve the initial framework plan by September 5th, while a finalized stadium plan must be submitted to Major League Baseball by October to keep the AA Padres affiliate in town. Eric Lankum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
It seems like every week there's news of another company that's moving their headquarters to Texas. A new plan is being rolled out as a way to help them thrive once they get here.
We're actually soon going to be launching something called the Texas Scale Up Coalition.
Glenn Hammer with the Texas Association of Business is a big part of this will be education. The coalition will work with universities and community colleges to create a skilled workforce. He says that's the biggest need of companies that want to expand their operations. TxDOT is teaming up with local law enforcement to prevent drunk driving this Labor Day weekend. They'll be out on the road stopping drunk drivers as part of the Drive Sober, No Regrets campaign. DPS Sergeant Tony De La Cerda says July and August are the two deadliest months for drunk driving.
We tend to see more drunk drivers over the holiday weekends. On average, we're losing one person in Texas every 8 hours because of drunk driving. That means every day, multiple families in Texas lose a loved one and have their lives changed forever.
He says if you plan to drink this Labor Day weekend, make sure you arrange a sober ride through a taxi, friend, or rideshare, or take public transportation. It is 7:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute. But first, a check of your money and the world of business. Ed Corey is live at the Bloomberg News Desk. Isn't it? Puro San Antonio, yeah. All right, thanks, Ed. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman. I'm Chris Duell. Let's check in with national correspondent Rory O'Neill. Rory, you were watching Kamala Palooza last night, the Kamala Harris interview by Dana Bash on CNN. First of all, your impressions of how she did.
That was 26 minutes of interview jammed into one full hour of programming. It's a lot of breadcrumbs in that meatloaf, essentially is what that boils down to. And look, I think it was fine. The responses were fine. It didn't do any big damage to the Harris-Walz campaign. But I don't think a bunch of Michigan voters are suddenly running to the other side as a result of last night's interview.
Rory, for those looking for more policy specifics from Harris, do you think the interview helped satisfy that?
If it starts the ball rolling, if this is one of a series, one of many, look, the problem now they're going to have is if these interviews are so rare, then they become, there's such an intense spotlight on them, and now we look at it frame by frame. And that really then becomes a bigger issue because one little slip up becomes a problem. You've got Donald Trump and J.D. Vance out there constantly. Vance has been on CNN nonstop for the past half hour answering all kinds of questions. So, I think if there's more of it, more noise out there, that Harris and Walz can set their records straight, at least the current version of their records, and then these sort of fall into the background, and that way, when you do have debates, more people are tuning in.
Do you think we'll see a press conference from Kamala Harris?
I doubt it. I think we're going to get more of that shouting from Air Force Two as she walks by, a couple of gaggle questions, and that's about it. Or then what we'll probably see is more local reporters getting access, so that when she's in Sheboygan, she'll talk to the Sheboygan TV reporter and do a few things that way. Or in Pennsylvania, pick your Pennsylvania town, and she'll talk to the local person there rather than some big network interview. The funny thing is, look, you couldn't get Tim Walz off TV in the weeks leading up to the convention before he was picked as the nominee. He was on every show, every channel, you pick it, you name it. He was trying to get on this ticket. But now, he's got to be sheltered and handled like nuclear waste.
Well, and it is such a contrast, Rory, as you point out. We do see Donald Trump and J.D. Vance all over virtually every network, and yet these Harris and Walz interviews are so rare. Don't you think, or shouldn't they think that the electorate will eventually figure this out and think something's fishy here?
But at the same time, some of these interviews that Trump and Vance are doing don't help them out. We saw Donald Trump yesterday sort of put his foot in it with the Florida abortion question and how he's going to vote on that. And then you had J.D. Vance in Boston at the firefighter union event getting booed out there. So they're not going great either. But I think both campaigns are almost hoping for a reset on September 10th at that presidential debate. And then the sprint is on from there.
As far as Tim Walz, do you think he did much to quell the criticism of her past misleading statements about his military record?
No, I mean, I thought it was a skillful attempt at a pivot, but I think you have to answer the question first and then pivot. So his timing was, I sound like an Olympic judge. You have to pick the landing first, then pivot, not pivot first. And I don't think he's really answered some of those questions yet about what he said about carrying weapons in times of war and stuff like that.
All right. Our listeners really want to know, Rory, what are you doing for the Labor Day weekend?
I'm working. I don't know about you guys. Am I filling in for you on Monday?
No, we're not here Monday.
I know.
So I don't know who's filling in for us.
Rory,
I just
why
don't
not
know.
Rory?
I just didn't want to say no, Rory. I didn't want to be rude, but no.
I think it's me.
All right. Well, very good.
You're the best in the
Well,
business, so it makes sense.
Or the cheapest on Labor Day. That's where we fall.
Well, we love him. Be listening for Rory O'Neill Monday. And when we're back on Tuesday, national correspondent Rory O'Neill. Coming up, we're going to hear from you. How did you feel about Kamala Harris's performance last night on CNN? And we're taking suggestions. Tim's old school Jay takes on my old school Holmes in football this weekend. We're placing a bet. We need a reason to bet. What's on the line? That's coming up. WOAI News Time, 7:45. Sure.
And we're back.
Woohoo!
Howdy ho, neighbors.
Have we had crash number 3? We've had 2, but not 3 yet.
No, not
as soon as
3.
I say that now, it's going to
I know.
crash.
Way to go, Chris.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I had 3 in the over-under, so just saying.
Trevin says, let me know when Harris disparages the Congressional Medal of Honor in an interview.
Echo says we should vote. We should bet a case of beer.
That's not bad.
We do that all the time.
Bobby Snyder, place your bets. What will the score be before kickoff?
0-0.
Yeah.
I nailed it.
Will the team with the most points win the game?
Yes, they will.
But sometimes the loser is the winner and the winner is the loser,
That's
Bobby.
true.
You
That's
never
true.
know.
Look, you got fellow class of 1989, MAG 7189.
All right. I was class of 78. Very nice, MAG 7189.
It is, isn't it, Trevin?
There's Patty.
See, what the hell? That ain't bad.
Someone needs to send the memo. Quayak. Summer 2024 coming to an end.
Great movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah.
Glade trash bag as an air bag.
They had a low.
Low budget on the first one. Low budget on the first one, not so much the rest of them. The one that should have never happened was the European vacation. Should have never happened. One of the Cash twins used to own the property right behind me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then he
was it Keith or Carrie?
We don't know, but he didn't pay his taxes and it got
Oh, no.
got sent to auction. And Johnny Walker, I know Johnny pretty well.
Yeah, Johnny's been on the radio quite a bit.
Yeah, he used to be on with us on the ticket all the time. But I went to John Jay, so.
Yeah, that was the golden era of Holmes Husky football. I remember I lived in Los Angeles at the time, and I'd often see USA Today would do the top 25 high school teams in the country.
Yeah, because the internet was brand new back then, so yeah.
So it was very cool seeing Holmes High School, San Antonio Holmes.
Yeah, and then he went on to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, San Antonio Holmes.
Oh, San Antonio. Thank you.
Stand by.
Well, I'm still mad Priest Holmes went to Marshall. He should have gone to Holmes.
Stand by.
Just ahead of headlines, traffic, and weather together. Then we'll hear from the people and Randy Beamer. Woo. It is Fridays with Beamer. Randy Beamer joins us at 8 o'clock. Always entertaining and fascinating and enlightening when the Beamer joins the show. Charity, what are you working on?
Oh, the Dallas PD is mourning the loss of one of its officers as two others were injured in a shootout with a gunman that was also killed. VP Kamala Harris and her running mate took part in their first interview, which is getting mixed reviews. And former President Trump will hold a rally today in the swing state of Pennsylvania. We'll have the latest coming up right now, traffic and weather.
Your Labor Day weekend forecast, partly cloudy skies, a stray shower or thunderstorm is possible today, tomorrow, and on Sunday. All 3 days, highs in the mid-90s. On your Labor Day Monday, rain showers in the morning, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon, potential for some heavy rainfall, highs in the upper 80s. 73 degrees in New Braunfels, Texas, 77 in China Grove, and 76 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 7:51.
That's what I'm talking about. Mr. Mojo Rising and the Doors. Man. Summer's almost gone.
Wow.
Perfect. It is a playlist Friday. We're playing songs about the end of summer because Labor Day weekend is the unofficial end of summer. Randy Beamer will join us just after 8 o'clock. Fridays with Beamer. We love having Randy on board. But we've been asking you all morning on the free iHeartRadio app, A, what were your thoughts of Kamala Harris's performance last night in that CNN interview? And B, Holmes High School takes on John Jay High School this Saturday night at Gustafson Stadium, but we're old school. It was Northside Stadium.
That's where I learned how to drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we need something on the line. It's Mr. T's alma mater versus mine. We're placing a bet. So if you want to add a good idea for us to...
Yeah, so what we really want to know is what should Chris have to do? That's really what it comes down to.
That's kind of braggadocious.
He's very cocky. Yeah. He's very cocky.
Hey, John Jay, what do you expect?
We'll find out on Saturday night. All right, Mr. T, what do the people say?
Let's go out to Atkins, Texas.
Hey, good morning, WAI. This is Greg from Atkins. That interview left a lot to be desired. A bunch of softball questions, basically holding her hand on the questions and giving her options instead of making her choose an answer for herself. She had to bring her service candidate with her, I guess, for moral support. It wasn't really an interview. She needed to stand up and take questions.
Yep.
Service candidate. Well put.
Very well put.
Yeah.
All right, here's something that somebody wants us to do on the bet. Here it is.
Good morning, this is Pat. I think the loser should babysit Charity's children so that she and her honey can have a date night.
Aww.
And the winner, some other time, should take Charity's children out for a nice meal or a fast food and ice cream, whatever Charity thinks is healthy. And as far as the debate goes, or the interview, I don't get CNN. So I rely on you to tell.
Well, Pat, we're glad you rely on us. We do the best we can
And
to tell you
secondly,
what's going
Pat,
on.
there's no way Charity's ever going to let us babysit her kids.
I just don't think you guys have a whole lot of recent experience in T's case with little
I've
kids.
got great nieces and great nephews, and come
You
on.
don't think Uncle Chris and Uncle T would be a good influence on your kids?
No comment.
Ouch!
Wow.
No,
Wow.
You know,
What do you think,
they're
we're
high
Wicked Uncle
maintenance.
Ernie?
I don't want to do that to you guys. They're high maintenance. And,
Come on,
you
man.
know,
We're high maintenance.
They're kids, man.
they are well-behaved kids. I will say that. I run a
not
tight
after
ship.
we get through with them.
No, that's true. That's true.
We'll teach them all the bad things to do for
Promise not to share our alcohol with them.
Yeah,
that would
no.
be wrong.
They can buy their own.
I'm gonna have to lock my liquor cabinet if I let you in my house.
Come on, man. We can pick a lock. I went to John Jay. He went to Holmes.
We'll
You
teach
kidding
your
me?
kids how to pick a lock.
Yeah,
That would be great.
exactly. Exactly.
Thanks for thinking of me, Pat.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Here's another one.
Good morning. This is Joe from Spring Branch. Kamala did fine yesterday. What we really should be talking about is Trump and his people's desecration of Arlington National Cemetery. It was shameful, just as shameful as what he said about the Congressional Medal of Honor. Have a happy Labor Day weekend.
Both sides.
Both sides. That's right.
Both sides.
We want to hear from you. And Charity, a lot of blowback on what happened at Arlington National Cemetery. Now, Donald Trump says he was invited by those families, but still it was against, federal regulations regarding military cemeteries.
Yeah, and the fact that he took a picture at one of the grave sites of our service members, grinning with a thumbs up, didn't go over very well.
Optics.
And it didn't look good. And regarding the Presidential Medal of Freedom, he said in previous comments, that was a better award compared to the top military honor, the Medal of Honor, because those recipients are often deceased or injured.
Wow.
Yep, those were a couple of faux pas, certainly, by the former
I think
president.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's check in with our pool guy.
Good morning, y'all. It's Marco, your pool guy. I had no interest in seeing that interview last night. So I do have an idea. The loser of this bet goes to the winner's school for the next pep rally and leads the pep rally in cheers.
Ooh.
Y'all have a good one.
Ooh,
Marco, come on,
man.
But school officials would have to let you on the premises. So, yeah, that's the first hurdle to climb.
Mr. T would not be well received.
Yeah, I
at
would
Holmes
not
High
be
School.
well received at Holmes. No way. No way. That would be hard. It would be very hard to do. Now, I think.
And plus, the high school kids, either way, they
Yeah,
go,
go.
who's this old
Yeah,
man?
who are we bringing this guy back for?
coming
What's
up,
going on here?
Leading our cheer, our pep rally.
So far, I think what we're leaning towards, Charity, is the loser having to perform the other school's
Fight song.
Fight song.
Yeah, that's the easy way out. I want to see the beards change color, at least for a day. I mean, I think that kind of raises the stakes a little more, in my humble opinion.
Chris, how do you feel about having a blue beard?
Well, I'm willing to maybe consider the beard dyeing option if we can babysit Charity's kids.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in. Chris will do it with a blue beard.
No, we would each have to.
Okay, so I
one
wear
would have to
green.
according to Pat, one would babysit and one would then take the kids out to a meal.
All right. If you're ready to be called Uncle Chris and Uncle T.
It's not the first time
I
it's
was
happened.
Uncle Chris at age 11.
Yeah,
actually.
me too, actually. I was too. I was
There's
Uncle
that.
Tim at age 11, yeah.
All right, Randy Beamer is on the way. Fridays with Beamer. You don't want to miss it. WOAI News Time, 7:57.
And we're back.
Woohoo!
She really wants
Wow.
us to dye our beard, doesn't she?
He sure does. Wow, SWAT cats. That's a big piece of history. August 30th, 1983, STS-8 Space Shuttle Challenger takes off the first night launch of the shuttle program. Guion Bluford, I think D was his middle initial.
Yes, it was.
Becomes the first African-American in space on this mission. And then, ironically and tragically, he would lose his life.
Yeah, it was in today's Those Were the Days.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
Yes, it was.
Okay, I should have listened.
I happened to hear it.
Yeah.
Bourbon in the bottle. I like that. I like bourbon in anything. Glass,
See,
bottle.
bourbon at age, God, how old was I?
Was
12?
not good, was
I was
it?
at Pat Neff. I snuck out with a girl named Kathy Ward.
Okay.
And Kathy
All
Ward
right.
brought a bottle of bourbon. We snuck out and we met at Glen Oaks Park, middle of the night. And to impress her, I drank almost the whole bottle of bourbon.
You're crazy.
I went home. I threw up
for days.
For
days.
And to this day, and that was like 1973.
Ugh.
To this day, I smell bourbon and I get
Really?
I feel sick.
Well, that's like
because
me
of
and
that
Jen. It's like me and
bourbon
Jen.
experience.
Me and Jen are the same way. I can't even look at a bottle without my stomach turning. I just found this out. You know, Mad Dog 2020.
Yes.
They now sell it in 16-ounce cans.
We're gonna have to sample that. Just for
It's been
old
so
time's
long,
sake.
man.
Yes, I
Been
know.
so long.
And I know it's god awful, but
Hey, at a time, we used to
and that would
drink
be a
it.
good bet.
Yeah.
Chug a Mad Dog.
Now we have it.
Chug a Mad Dog 2020 out of a can.
Now we have it.
There's
our bet
chugging
right there.
contest.
I will look up and see where we can get them.
Because, all right, did you drink Mad Dog 2020 in high school?
Yes, I did.
I drank
Yes,
Mad
I
Dog
did.
2020 in high school.
Okay, that's it right
So
there.
it's a 16-ounce can.
Let me see where I can find them.
Okay. I kind of like loser has to chug
on camera.
On camera, a can of Mad
Right
Dog
after the
2020.
show. Here it is. Yes, I'm going to drink, and I agree. And I'm going to drink. Look, here they are. But they're different flavors, like tangy orange.
Oh, okay.
8 o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. It is Friday. Good morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, Kamala Harris takes part in her first interview as a presidential candidate. And a shooting in Dallas leaves one police officer dead and 2 other officers injured. Details ahead. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes and mornings. Your Weather Channel forecast for this Friday: partly cloudy, a high near 95. Tonight, a stray shower or storm possible, a low in the upper 70s. Get a move on. It is 75 degrees. A police shooting in Dallas last night leads to 2 wounded and 2 dead, including a police officer.
We have officers who are injured, who are in the hospital, and we lost one of our own.
Dallas Police Department's Kristen Lohman says cops responded to an officer in distress call.
Responding officers then exchanged gunfire with a suspect at that scene, and 2 officers were shot at that scene. One of those officers is listed in stable condition. One officer is listed in critical condition, and one officer died from his injuries this evening.
No names were released, but Lohman was asking for thoughts and prayers for those hospitalized as well as for the family of the fallen officer. The investigation continues. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
5 weeks after launching her presidential campaign, Vice President Kamala Harris gave her first interview. Fox's Chris DeMayo has details.
Vice President Harris was joined by Minnesota Governor Tim Walz in the sit-down with CNN. The discussion largely focused on policy, with the vice president defending shifting away from some of her more liberal positions. But she insists her values haven't changed, especially on issues affecting average Americans.
One of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class.
Courtesy of CNN, the vice president was asked about changes in her policies over the years, specifically on fracking and decriminalizing illegal border crossings. The interview comes as voters are still trying to learn more about the Democratic ticket under an unusually compressed time frame. Chris DeMayo, Fox News.
During a campaign stop at a steel plant in Potterville, Michigan, former President Trump announced a new potential IVF policy mandating the government and insurance companies to cover all costs related to the reproductive treatment.
We want more babies, to put it very nicely. And for this same reason, we will also allow new parents to deduct major newborn expenses from their taxes.
It comes as part of his campaign's trek across the Rust Belt, states like Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, as VP Harris travels across Georgia. Texas AG Kim Paxton is suing the city of Dallas over a change in gun policy for the upcoming state fair. Paxton claims the rule that only active or retired police officers would be allowed onto the fairgrounds with weapons is a violation of state law since the property is owned by the city. The change is being made after 3 people were shot and wounded at the state fair last year. Both city and fair officials say they stand behind the new policy and appeal is likely. Republicans are furious over what is in the proposed San Antonio city budget. Beth Myers has details.
Part of the budget includes using taxpayer dollars to pay for lawyers for illegal immigrants. Councilman Mark White opposes the allocation of $150,000 to a group called American Gateways. He says it's not something that residents want.
We do a budget survey every year. I mean, I don't know why we do it, because we ask them and then we go off and spend money on other things.
He says it's just one example of frivolous spending. There's also $500,000 for a so-called reproductive justice program that would help pregnant women leave the state to seek an abortion. I'm Beth Myers, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Several new laws passed during special sessions of the Texas legislature are set to go into effect on Sunday. Among the 50-plus bills, one notable law is House Bill 18, which imposes new regulations on social media platforms. Under this law, digital service providers must verify a user's age and obtain parental consent before minors can create accounts. These changes follow last year's legislative session where more than 700 bills became law. A warning for people who plan to party this Labor Day weekend: you better not drink and drive. TxDOT and local law enforcement are trying to reduce the number of alcohol-related crashes through the Drive Sober, No Regrets campaign.
If the danger you put yourself, your family, and others on the road isn't enough to convince you to drive sober, be aware that people convicted of drunk driving face long-term financial and personal costs. You have options that do not include getting behind the wheel after you've been drinking. If you do, just know that we will be out there looking for you, we will find you, and we will arrest you.
DPS Sergeant Tony De La Cerda says make sure you have a sober ride. Last Labor Day, there were 334 alcohol-related crashes in Texas, resulting in 14 fatalities and 35 serious injuries. It is 8:06. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news as we embark upon this Labor Day weekend. It is a Friday. That means Fridays with Beamer. Randy Beamer is on board. Lots to talk about with Randy. We'll get right to it. But first, your traffic and weather together.
Your Labor Day weekend forecast today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Partly cloudy skies all 3 days. A stray shower thunderstorm possible all 3 days, and all 3 days highs in the mid-90s. On Monday, showers in the morning, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. The potential for some heavy rainfall, highs in the upper 80s. It is 77 degrees at Fort Sam, Houston, 76 in Lavernia, and 76 right here in San Antonio in Stone Oak. WOEI News Time 810.
Green Day, Wake Me Up When September Ends. Well, September hasn't even started yet, but it's about to start on, what is that, Sunday? Sunday, September 1st?
Yes.
I do believe so. San Antonio's first news. Let us welcome in the most trusted man in San Antonio, longtime television news anchor on the Mount Rushmore of greatest San Antonio television personalities ever, host of On the Record, 7 o'clock Thursday nights on KLRN. You know him, you love him, you can't get enough of him. Randy Beamer, welcome in.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you, Tip the Wait staff. You know, I appreciate those intros, except, Chris, I have to tell you that I do the show, KLRN's On the Record every week, and I found myself doing your introductions now.
So you had to expand the show to an hour?
Yes.
Exactly. Andrea Drush is the reporter for the San Antonio Report online. And so she knows everything there is to know about politics and government. And then we didn't have time for the interview. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to pull back from that. But if you want to, feel free.
It's already too late. It's already, what's done is done. So
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, Randy, let's get the serious stuff out of the way first so we can have some fun. But we got to get your reaction to the Kamala Harris, Tim Walz CNN interview last night. What are your thoughts?
I'm glad they had it. I don't want to ever say anything bad about another journalist because it's a tough position. I couldn't imagine being in that. There's no right way. Everybody's going to rip you for doing that. But I wish there were some other questions asked. Talk about introducing someone in an overly whatever manner. It's just get to the question, then follow them up. I know you have a list of questions you wanted to get to, but then you have to kind of listen to what they say and then press them and press. I wish she would have done that. I thought Harris and Walz did what they needed to do, given the questions and given the setting. It was awkward, two-person to one interviewer, but it was okay. Is that about as big a come down from the introduction that you gave me as I can get?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Now, don't you think that she should do a press conference now? I mean, get out in front of the reporters, take some, questions that she doesn't know are coming?
Yeah. I think, we're going to have the debate, but she needs to, I think, and he does as well, kind of get into the rhythm of unexpected questions, responses, answers before that debate with Trump and before Harris's or Walz's debate with J.D. Vance. So that, we just need more information. We need more of where they're going, what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, and even about their personalities as well.
And it seems every time I turn on cable news, Randy, I see Donald Trump or J.D. Vance being interviewed. Do you think eventually, if they keep up this, trend of not doing many interviews, do you think that'll come back and bite Kamala Harris and Tim Walz?
Oh, no, I heard, was it Rory in the last
Yes.
half hour saying that at the same time, sometimes Trump and Vance aren't doing themselves any favors because anytime you do an interview, there's always that one thing that people can take either out of context or exactly the context that you meant it and use it against you in some way. But they just have to, I just want to hear more from all of the candidates talking about what they're going to do, have done, why they're going to do it. And instead of belittling the other people or the media or whatever, just get on with it. Campaign.
What did you think about Harris's response when asked by Dana Bash about Trump's previous comments about her racial identity?
I thought she handled that well. I mean, that's one where I wish Dana Bash would have maybe followed it up a little bit more. But to just kind of say, same old thing, next question, she didn't give anyone too much of an opening to rip her on it, to say, well, you see there, that's why she's playing that identity politics game and she's playing into that or not. But I just, maybe Dana could have pressed her more on that and on some of the other things as well. But that's not her fault that she wasn't pressed on it.
And Randy, what are your thoughts of them making the whole unedited version of that interview available on their website at some time? Do you think that's a possibility? How would you do that?
Yeah, I think so. I think they have to. It's almost like archival stuff, especially with the rarity of stuff. And as I went online and CNN has it, because I didn't watch it live, but I think they have it in 1, 2, 3, whatever.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
It just goes on and on after that. And I would definitely, speaking of which, and I know you have to go to a break here, but when you go to break and you're listening on the web, as I was this morning, I have to tell you what one of the ads was for that interrupts your show and that I was stunned by.
Okay.
That's a good tease.
I'll tell you that. I'll
That's a
tell
good
you that
tease.
after the break.
See, Randy Beamer, he's the master of the tease among everything else. We'll find out what that was coming right up. WOAI News Time, 8:16.
All right, Randy, you still there, right?
Yes. You there?
Yeah. This is just for the streamers right now.
Yeah, the streamers can hear you.
Yes, so be careful.
Streamers.
Yeah, the
So
streamers.
I shouldn't swear too much.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Right, it's it's the internet, so anything.
We have a question for you. A question for Polar Pop Beamer. Let's see. Have you noticed the blue straws have gone missing at Circle K? And if so, where have you put them?
You know, I will tell you that at different Circle K, sometimes they have different colored straws. But more importantly, I don't notice that because I recycle my straws.
Oh, look at you.
Very nice.
As you know, I have, a lot of Polar Pup cups. And so I bring them myself and I bring the tops and the straws so that we're saving the environment.
All right. And another thing is we have a bet on the John Jay and Holmes game tomorrow.
I heard that.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea for what the payoff should be?
I think a tattoo, a face tattoo. It's
face tattoo.
See, I am a no tattoo guy. It's just not
Well,
my.
it could be a temporary.
Okay.
It could be. He could just write in ink on your face, like they may have done in high school, whatever he wants to on the loser's face, the winner.
That's not a bad idea. Face tats as administered by the victor.
And it would get a lot more people watching that streaming.
Yes.
Well, see, we had another idea since we were in high school. Mad Dog 2020 was a big thing in our high school years. They have out right now 16-ounce Mad Dog 2020 spiked punches, and we're thinking the loser has to chug one.
I can see that during the show.
No, right after the show on the stream, so people can watch it.
No. At the beginning of the show.
At the beginning of the show. Yes.
Yeah, we call that Friday, Randy.
Well, yeah, but if it's at the beginning of the show and then every half hour, and then they also have to sing, you have to sing the song, the fight song of the other, and see if you can remember, and the lyrics sound like Donald Trump when he was on the Elon Musk show.
Okay, that's funny.
Nice.
That's funny.
Will that work?
Yeah.
No.
I just think hearing people drunk.
Yeah.
Who was the guy who does day drinking? Was it Seth Meyers?
Yeah. I'm a big day drinker. I like day drinking. Nothing wrong with it.
And Stephen Colbert, they drink on their
That's
show.
true.
So I can
That's
see
true.
you guys doing that.
All right, hang on, Randy. Here we come.
More with Randy Beamer coming right up. First, Charity, what stories are you following?
The Dallas PD is mourning the loss of one of its officers as two others were injured in a shootout with a gunman that was also killed. VP Kamala Harris and her running mate took part in their first interview, which is getting mixed reviews. And the Drive Sober, No Regrets Texas DPS campaign is in full effect for the holiday weekend. We'll have more right now, traffic and weather.
Your Labor Day weekend forecast, partly cloudy skies, stray shower, thunderstorm possible, highs in the mid-90s today, tomorrow, and on Sunday. Monday, your Labor Day, showers in the morning, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. There's some potential for some heavy rainfall, highs in the upper 80s. 71 degrees in Kerrville, Texas, 77 in Cibolo, and 76 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time 820.
San Antonio's first news. He is the Elvis of all-time San Antonio television news anchors. The one and only Randy Beamer. Randy, you were listening on the stream and you heard something unusual.
Okay, and this may be an ad that's on the radio as well, but I hadn't heard it on the radio, and I do listen to both the radio and the stream. But are you running ads for the city of Austin now on the radio on WOAI, or is that just on the stream?
I believe that's just on the stream.
I have not heard that ad.
It just seemed odd that Austin we're a great city, and you can come up and enjoy us anytime. Come on up.
But you just can't get through on the highway.
We're rich and hip, and our traffic sucks.
I'm very pretentious. Yeah.
I didn't know if that was something you knew that was on the air or not.
Yeah, it's part of our listening area, but no, it's not on locally, but on the stream exclusively. It is, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, they get OAI in Austin, so it just struck me as odd that they're advertising here, like that the city is spending money on an ad.
We're like the Spurs. We're trying to bring in Austin. We're like the Spurs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Now, Randy, you have another grandbaby on the way. Is that right?
I do. There's one that should either be, my daughter hopes by the end of the month or early October. She looks to be about 15 months pregnant now.
Wow.
Sorry. I say that with a lot of love and pity for her but we had a baby shower or sprinkle the other day. So I was wondering, what do you get? And I got her gift for basically money for the shower, but what do you get for parents who have a baby, like for the second baby? And do you just get a money, or what should you get?
You get them a certificate and let Chris and Tim babysit. Does that work?
You guys are sounding a little creepy, okay?
Well, Charity is our baby expert and our parenting expert.
You know, Randy, you can't go wrong with the tried and true Amazon gift cards, diapers, Pampers specifically. Yes, brand does matter when it comes to diapers. And I will tell you, there's this portable child seat that hooks on to tables. You can find it on Amazon. Every time I'd go out, people would ask me, where did you get that? It's genius. I got to get one of those. I've never seen it. You can find it. I highly recommend that as a gift.
I want one.
I just feel like, and this is why I'm asking you as a mom, that I'm impinging on her right to choose her own stuff if I get them things like that. Is it insulting to them if I say, here, you need this, or you probably didn't think of getting this?
No, I think personalized gifts come across as very thoughtful. Just include the gift receipt and you can't go wrong.
Because I got already, we know it's a boy, so I got baseball cards.
Oh, hell yeah.
But at the same time, I know that the younger generation, like my kids, they don't like a lot of stuff. So I'm going to keep those cards at my house so that they don't throw them out. So I don't know. But do you have any name ideas?
For the baby?
Yeah. I mean, not that I'm going to pick. But
I was going to say, yeah.
Wemby.
Yeah.
Wemby.
Wemby.
Wemby Beamer.
Wemby Beamer.
Oh, it's got a
ring
great
to it.
sound to it. Yes.
Well, I have a question for you, Chris. By the way, I know we're coming up on Labor Day.
Yes.
And my query was, sound like Carson, I wanted to know who wears slacks? You said you didn't know if you were going to be able to wear your
My slacks. Well,
after
see,
Labor-
I learned this
Jack
from my
Nicklaus?
mother, and my mother always said you never wear white slacks after Labor Day. So I guess, old guy that I am, I guess I wear white slacks, but I never wear them after Labor Day or before Memorial Day. So I guess I wear white slacks.
Pants or just slacks or pantaloons?
What's the difference between slacks and trousers, Randy?
That's what I want. I don't know anyone who uses the term slacks, except for he used to golf in the 1960s. Sanzabel called.
Well, see,
I just heard that earlier, and I didn't know what slacks are.
Well, Mr. T and I have had this conversation. There's some terms we want to bring back. It's like my grandmother used to call me a ragamuffin.
Oh, I love that.
I want to bring back the term.
yes.
I want to bring back slacks, and I want to call people a ragamuffin.
And I want to bring back groovy.
Yeah.
Groovy. Well, yeah.
Far out, man.
Ragamuffin, that's one my grandmother used a lot, my mom. So I can
See,
understand that.
something about muffins, though. Look at how the muffin thing is recurring.
Charity, don't let them around your kids. Just
My dad would use Philistine and delinquent, I think, is what the terms he would use.
Those are good ones.
Nice.
We need to bring those back, too.
So, Randy, we're late, but what's the big
tats? That's what you should get each other or force on each other if you lose the game.
Face tats.
Put face tats on.
Okay, as long as they're not permanent, because I'm not a tattoo guy. I keep my body clean. So I'm just saying, Randy. We got to know. America wants to know what's the big centerpiece of your Labor Day weekend. What's the big Randy Beamer event?
Well, here at the compound, we have a lot of activities coming up, but I can't really let you know on that because most of them are legal, and I'll let you know next week.
Sounds good.
We'll read about it in the police blotter, Randy.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He is the one and only Randy Beamer. Don't miss On the Record, KLRN, Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Every episode available on demand at klrn.org. Joe Pags coming up with a preview of the Joe Pags Show, WOAI News Time, 8:26.
All right, Randy, you still there?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we're still talking to the streamer, so we figure we'll spend a few extra minutes.
Are
Yes.
you wearing white slacks as we speak, Randy?
Trousers.
Trousers.
I heard you mention white slacks earlier, and I thought, that's out of a golf magazine
Yes.
in 1958. But
my mother always said no white slacks after Labor Day, so I've been using it ever since.
we did the weirdest promo ever for Channel 4 that a few people out there drunk streaming and watching this may remember is when we all wore white.
Oh, yeah.
And sang something, and I can't remember what it was.
Oh, man.
Oh, gosh.
Song. And I had on glasses, but it was a white after Labor Day that you can't wear white after Labor Day. It was, I don't know. The promo guy, David Stotts, was a genius, but anyway, if anybody remembers out there,
somebody needs to upload that to YouTube.
Exactly.
Maybe that'll show up on YouTube
Now,
somewhere.
the question is, Randy, do you own white slacks, trousers, pants?
No.
Yeah. Good.
Do you?
No. I told the story. I can't wear a white shirt. I wear a white shirt. I walk outside of a Mexican restaurant. I get salsa on me. I don't know how it happens.
That's why they used to have that. It used to be a class thing. Like people in New York, they would go to the Hamptons or whatever, and then you come back into the city. The streets were so dirty, it would show. And then the rich people wouldn't wear white because they would get dirty as well.
Yeah.
But while you were wearing white, you were rich and whatever. So Chris knows about that. Apparently.
Exactly.
Well, apparently he's got white slacks. So
I've got white slacks in the closet. I should had I thought I would have worn them today. I just forgot about it.
Who's more upscale, Holmes or Jay?
Oh, they're both pretty ghetto, I would think, right?
Now they are, but at one time's Holmes, Thunderbird Hills, man. You were up there.
Thunderbird. When I was a kid, Randy,
that was the stuff, man.
When I was a kid, all the cool kids lived, and I did not, but all the cool kids lived in Thunderbird Hills.
See, I lived in Westwood Village. WV.
Well, you guys need to do some more smack talking on the air. I love that.
Well, we will. Trust me.
Holmes Jay.
Look, Jay's going to kill them. They're going to slaughter them. So it's really the bet's for Chris.
Well, see, and Holmes has been down so far since 1985 that I can't refute that. Holmes probably will be annihilated in this and every game. So,
see, the last press that John Jay got was when the player tackled the referee.
That's right,
and got arrested for assault. Yeah, see that's my school, buddy. That's my school. So Holmes is not going to win because they're scared.
You guys can say that. I can't say that, but I'm a normal kid from normal community high school. So we never wore white. We didn't have white when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, never.
Well, tell everybody hi. Sorry to go long on that segment. There.
That's quite all right.
Great.
It's quite all right.
We like it better when you're in studio and we can go a couple hours. So
yeah.
Hopefully we'll do that again.
All right. Well, tell Terry thanks, and I'll talk to you all next week.
All right. Have a good one, Randy.
Thank you.
All right.
It's a hack with a hack.
All right. I thought it was going to be something on the stream that it was like really salacious.
Oh, me too. I thought it was going to be like male enhancement or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay, well. All right. So after Pegs, what do you want to do?
We're going to have to
pay off on the bet.
I got to turn that off for a second. I got to read you.
.32 is our time. San Antonio's first news. It is Friday. Good morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, a Dallas police officer is dead, 2 others injured after exchanging gunfire with a suspect, and Kamala Harris's first sit-down interview is in the books. We'll have details first, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your Weather Channel forecast for this Friday, partly cloudy, a high near 95. Tonight, a stray shower or storm possible, a low in the upper 70s. Right now, 78 degrees. Well, 3 police officers in Dallas were shot last night, leaving 1 dead and 2 injured. Here's Fox's Chanley Painter.
Dallas police confirming 3 officers were shot in the line of duty. They say officers responding to an officer in distress call near Oak Cliff Community Center found a Dallas police officer shot in a marked patrol car. The arriving officers then exchanged gunfire with an armed suspect at the scene, where 2 more officers were shot. As of right now, one is in stable condition, one is in critical condition, and one officer is dead. After the shootout, the suspect fled the scene, leading officers on a high-speed chase. The pursuit ended in Louisville. According to police, when the suspect exited the vehicle, he had a long gun. Officers then fired at the suspect, killing him.
Here's more from Dallas PD spokesperson Kristen Lohman.
We asked tonight and this morning for the thoughts and prayers of our city, for not only those who are recovering in the hospital, but for our fallen, for their family, and for their loved ones.
Dallas police say flags at all city facilities will be flown at half-staff in memory of the murdered officer. Vice President Kamala Harris gave her first interview since launching her presidential campaign. Here's Fox's Chris DeMeo.
The vice president sitting down with CNN with her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. The interview focused largely on policy as the vice president sought to show that she had adopted more moderate positions like on fracking.
I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
Courtesy of CNN, the vice president saying the most important aspect of her policy perspective and decisions is her values have not changed. Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
During a campaign stop at a steel plant in Potterville, Michigan, former President Trump revealed a new policy on IVF that he wants to implement if reelected.
I'm announcing today in a major statement that under the Trump administration, your government will pay for, or your insurance company will be mandated to pay for, all costs associated with IVF treatment, fertilization for women. IVF treatment.
It comes as part of his campaign's trek across the Rust Belt, states like Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, as VP Harris travels across Georgia. Dozens of suspects from Texas are facing charges in connection with over 200 pharmacy thefts across 31 states. The thefts, totaling an estimated $12 million worth of controlled substances, were part of a trend that began in Arkansas and spread across multiple states. Stolen drugs, including hydrocodone, oxycodone, and Xanax, were taken back to Houston and resold. Although those for and against a new stadium downtown for the San Antonio Missions gave City Council an earful during a special session yesterday.
I don't want to move. And I know realistically 60% of the people living in that apartment won't want to move either.
This resident echoed many of the economic concerns of his neighbors and many on San Antonio City Council about a proposed new stadium for the San Antonio Missions minor league baseball team. Those in favor include Mayor Ron Nierenberg, who says the proposal must work for San Antonio as well for the team.
Protect San Antonians in terms of the finances of this deal, but also make sure that we're protecting San Antonio families.
The council must approve the initial framework plan by September 5th, while a finalized stadium plan must be submitted to Major League Baseball by October to keep the AA Padres affiliate in town. Eric Lankham, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Well, sleeping in on the weekends may help lower your risk of heart disease. Researchers in China recently studied data from over 90,000 patients on the relationship between heart disease and getting extra sleep. They discovered those who used their weekends to get caught up on the sleep they missed during the busy week were 19% less likely to develop heart disease than those who slept fewer hours on the weekend. It is 8:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute. But first, a check of your money and the world of business. We welcome in Ed Corey live at the Bloomberg News Desk. All right, thanks, Ed. Enjoy your holiday weekend. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
Summer coming to an end.
Boo.
Labor Day weekend is here. Farewell to summer, unofficially. San Antonio's first news. Coming up, Mr. T and I have to settle on our bet. What's it going to be? His alma mater, John Jay High School, taking on my alma mater, Holmes High School, Saturday night at Gustafson Stadium. We'll figure it out in just a sec. But first, let's check in with the Joe Pags Show. I am sure Joe will be reacting to last night's interview on CNN. Good morning, Joe.
Yeah, Chris, it's all anybody's talking about this morning. The big Harris Walls interview on CNN conducted by Dana Bash. It was a total of 18 minutes. They said it wasn't edited, although they did stop it and started to do commercial breaks and so on. So we don't really know if there was a final edit. We were told early last night that there wouldn't be a transcript, but I'm not really sure why, if in fact they didn't edit it. So maybe the transcript is available. Bottom line is this. It's basically Kamala Harris in 2019 versus Kamala Harris in 2024. And which one do you believe? The only real pushback that Dana Bash gave to Kamala Harris was, how about the border? And Harris gave some weird answer that somehow there were fewer people coming from the Northern Triangle than there were before. And that's what she was put in charge of. She wasn't the border czar. And also about fracking. Did you change your opinion on fracking? If so, why? Didn't really answer that. When she went to Tim Walz, I think Walz is more of the guy there to get beaten up on when it comes to the questions. She talked to him about IVF and how he said that they used IVF, but they didn't. He didn't really answer to that. And also about his military service and how he said he carried weapons of war in war. And he said that something about his grammar wasn't very good, or his wife said he didn't use very good grammar. So we will break that down this afternoon. 5 o'clock News Radio 1200 WOAI, and a whole lot more on the Joe Pags Show. Be there.
5 to 8 p.m. today and every weekday for the Joe Pags Show. Be sure to listen. Well, we need to settle this or settle on a bet.
Right.
As Holmes High School hosts John Jay High School in both. It's the home stadium for both of them, Gustafson Stadium.
Yes.
Formerly, when we went to high school,
North Side Stadium. Yes.
So you guys have to go on the far end.
Yeah, I don't like sitting on that side.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It seems like I have to travel too far.
So Charity, we've heard a lot of recommendations, what the bet should be. Any final recommendation from you?
I wish we could combine all of them, just for the ultimate whammy for the loser. But so far, we got dyeing your beard of the opposing team. Then you have wearing a dress and singing the school song of the loser has to sing the school song of the winner. So
that's the one I like.
I know it is because it's the easiest out.
Well,
it's not
there was another
humiliating.
one. There was another one that came up.
Yes, that we were thinking about.
Because back when we were in high school, Mad Dog 2020 was a big thing in high school, and they now make them in 16-ounce cans.
So I got to make sure, but Charity, do you know what
Mad Dog 2020
is?
Yeah, it's like a malt liquor.
No, it's a wine. Actually.
Oh, it's wine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Logan
David,
yes.
The worst possible wine.
Pretty much.
You can imagine.
Yes,
Okay, I've never had it. So.
Well,
we'll have to
your
indoctrinate you.
liver thinks you. Well, they now make a spiked punch in 16-ounce cans, and we were talking about the loser having to chug one of those, but then we decided that's probably not a good idea because we drink enough as it is, Chris. We don't need to be chugging things.
Well, and again, our management is fairly lenient as far as show content.
Yeah.
Now, Randy said off the air, Randy Beamer said we should chug that before the show begins.
Oh, that would be highly entertaining.
And then Randy said 1 per hour you should chug that.
Randy's trying to get us in trouble, man. That's what he's trying to do. So I think we've decided that we're going to come babysit your kids. That's just all there is to it. Yes, no, that's it. We decided.
Charity's kids.
So you're going to dye your beard. That's what you're going to do.
No.
The people have decided, guys. You don't decide. We decide.
Now, I'm a little bit hurt that Charity said that the singing of the opposing fight song is the easy way out.
Well, so what
Charity's
if we do this?
Suggesting that we would take the easy way out.
What if we do this and you don't have to sing it? You have to perform it as a rap song.
I don't think anybody wants to hear me rap.
You have to turn your hat sideways.
Nothing worse than a bad white rapper.
Look, Vanilla Ice had his time.
He wasn't that. Yeah, I mean, he was much better than I would be.
Do whatever you're comfortable with, because at the end of the day, I got to think about your wives, and they have to look at you. So it's probably not fair to, demand that you dye your beard.
Well, I think the blue and the green beard
that would be. That's not as bad as shaving.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as shaving it off. Yeah.
Well, you decide. You decide what you want to do.
Right, Mr. T, what do you want to do?
The fight song.
Okay, I don't want to I don't want to contradict that.
Well, it doesn't matter to me because you're the one that's going to lose, not me.
And Holmes probably will lose based on their recent records. But at least I'm realistic about that. No, but if we choose the fight song, Charity will scorn us forever as having taken the easy way out.
Perfect.
And I will respond like Simon Cowell when it comes to your performance, but I'm sure you will impress. I've already heard a sample this morning, Chris. So
tell me how pitchy I am. Simon, that was dreadful. That was absolutely dreadful.
You did say pitchy, right?
Pitchy.
Okay, good.
Pitchy.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
I am
checking.
not Megyn Kelly. I said pitchy with a P. Megyn Kelly recently.
So that's the bet?
It's
either that or the loser has to bring beer on Fridays for a month.
let's do both. No, just one Friday.
All right, one Friday and perform the
Yes.
others.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
Opposing fight song.
I'm in.
All right. We will get you caught up on headlines, traffic, weather, and more. Oh, and then a very special earworm that is oh so appropriate. WOAI News Time, 8:46. Okay, Babcock.
Yeah, Sleepy. I've been wearing these all morning. Thanks for noticing, though.
Well, Sleepy gets in here late.
I know.
Sleepy sleeps in.
He sleeps in because he's sleepy.
At Texas Mutual, we work hard to make that decision easy. Workers' comp reduces your financial risk if an employee gets injured on the job.
The opposite team's cheerleaders unis. That's what Travis wanted us to do.
Travis, that's just creepy. That's some creepy cross-dressing.
That's great.
If we had the budget for it.
If we had the budget, man.
For me to come in as a John Jay cheerleader in that is funny.
You know, my sister was what they called the Silver Spurs, which was the dance team.
Yeah.
Still has her uniform, Chris.
I don't think I'd fit into it. I'm pretty large.
Which actually makes it even more fun. Oh, hell's bells. I got to hit HEB. Hey, can't believe we stayed up. It didn't crash.
Yeah, we didn't get strike three.
We're almost to the end of the show, though. It could happen. All righty then.
So do you want to introduce the earworm?
No, I'll let you do it.
All right.
Send it out to the people that are going to be at the show tonight dancing in the aisles.
All right.
You know there's probably going to be the encore.
I would think so. Good chance.
And for those not going, good chance to get up right now.
Woo!
A little car dance.
Yes.
Come on, tell me you haven't danced in your car before. Wake me up when September rains. Hey, it's Joe Packed, everybody.
Hey, he's back. Rain opportunities.
Yep,
Pretty
unlikely.
unlikely.
Yeah, it just depends on who you listen to, man. It's one of those, yeah, maybe it will, maybe it won't. Oh, look.
He wants a communist type of government. Just ahead of headlines, traffic, and weather together, then a very appropriate earworm. First, Charity, what are you working on?
3 police officers in Dallas were shot last night, leaving 1 dead and 2 injured. Vice President Harris and her running mate sat down for a CNN interview that covered a wide range of topics. And the Drive Sober, No Regrets Texas DPS campaign is in full effect for the holiday weekend. We'll have more right now, traffic and weather.
Your Labor Day weekend forecast. Partly cloudy skies, a stray shower or thunderstorm possible. Highs in the mid-90s today, tomorrow, and on Sunday. Monday, showers early. Thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. A potential for some heavy rainfall. Highs in the upper 80s. 77 degrees in Leon Valley. 78 in Cibolo. And 77 right here in Stone Oak. WOEI News Time, 8:52.
Here is your earworm. It's Labor Day weekend, but it's Barry Manilow night. Our listeners, Bob and Cindy, Kemper and Storyteller, have a great time. If you're going to the Barry Manilow concert, I'm sure he's going to play this one. What I said.
Everybody have a great, great weekend. Say goodbye.
Goodbye, folks.